I took the job because it paid double and because it was temporary. That was the story I told myself on the drive north anyway. 6 hours up the 400, then smaller highways, then roads that stopped being named and started being numbered. The plant sat between a river and a stretch of forest that had been logged too many times to feel wild and not enough times to feel safe. Ontario in November smelled like wet metal and leaves that never finished rotting. I was a new hire, night operations assistant, provisional clearance. The posting said late night monitoring, redundancy checks, and procedural compliance during low activity hours. It did not say nuclear, but it didn't have to. Everything in the email chain was stamped with the same logo, a stylized trident over a circle, blue on white. I needed the money. My father's care facility wanted a deposit I didn't have. My contract job in Toronto had ended 2 weeks early. When HR said the night shift came with a retention bonus if I stayed 90 days, I told them I could start immediately. I arrived at 17 minutes past 6 in the evening, with the sky already gone flat and gray. Security met me at the outer gate. His badge said Morris. He checked my license, compared my face, then checked the license again. He didn't smile. "You're early," he said. "I was told to be," I said. He nodded and waved me through. The gate closed behind my car with a sound like a vault seething. I parked where he pointed, under a light that hummed and flickered in a regular pattern. 2 seconds bright, 1 second dim. I counted without thinking about it. Inside the admin building, the air was warm and smelled like cleaning solvent and coffee that had been sitting too long. A woman from HR handed me a clipboard and a lanyard with a temporary badge. She walked me through payroll, tax forms, emergency contacts. When I listed my father, she paused, then nodded and moved on. "Night operations is quiet," she said, "but it's strict. You follow the procedures exactly, even if they don't make sense to you yet." "Understood," I said. She led me to a locker room with 6 metal lockers, all but one closed. The open one had my name taped to it in black marker. Inside were coveralls, steel toe boots, a hard hat, and a small handheld radio already set to channel 6. I clipped it to my belt. "Channel 6 only," she said, "unless directed otherwise." "Unless directed otherwise," I repeated. She seemed to relax a fraction at that. Then she handed me a folded map of the plant. It was laminated, creased from use, with sections highlighted in yellow and red. Some corridors were crossed out entirely. "You won't need most of this tonight," she said, "but keep it on you, and don't improvise shortcuts." At 6:42, a man introduced himself as my supervisor for the shift. His name was Daniel, but he told me to call him Dan. He was in his late 50s, hair cropped short, eyes tired but alert. He shook my hand once and let go. "We don't do tours at night," he said. "You'll see what you need to see." We walked through admin, through a security checkpoint with a guard who scanned my badge and nodded, through a long corridor where the floor changed texture underfoot. The plant was quieter than I expected. No alarms, no rushing. Just the low, constant sound of systems running, like a distant storm that never arrived. Dan showed me the control room I would be responsible for. Not the main control room. That was sealed and staffed even at night. But a secondary monitoring station with 3 desks, 6 monitors, and a wall of indicator lights. A window looked out onto the south yard, where steam rose from vents in steady white plumes. "Your job," he said, "is to notice when something deviates and to respond according to procedure. You don't fix things. You report, you isolate, you wait." Okay, I said. He handed me a logbook. It was thick, with handwritten entries going back years. The most recent pages were neat, precise, written in black ink. You'll log everything, he said. Even if it seems minor, especially if it seems minor. At 7:10, he checked his watch and nodded to himself. All right, orientation's over. He opened a drawer in the desk and took out a stapled packet of paper. The cover page was yellowed, edges soft from handling. There was no title, just a date in the corner from 8 years ago and a series of initials. These are the rules, he said. I took the packet. It was heavier than it looked. You'll read them now, he said, out loud, and then you'll ask questions. I cleared my throat and began. 4640. At the start of your shift, inventory all portable equipment assigned to your station. This includes radios, flashlights, spare batteries, seal tape, chalk, and keys. Record quantities and note any discrepancies before 8 o'clock. If you discover a discrepancy after 8 o'clock, do not attempt to locate the missing item. 4641. Channel 6 is the only authorized radio channel between 8 o'clock in the evening and 6 o'clock in the morning. If you hear your name spoken on any channel, do not respond. 4642. The south window must remain uncovered until 2:10 a.m. Between 2:10 a.m. and 2:20 a.m., lower the blackout curtain completely. After 2:20 a.m., raise it fully and secure the tie. 4643. Do not look directly into the North Service Corridor mirrors after midnight. If you see movement in the reflection, note the time and continue your task. 4644. All interior doors are to remain unlocked unless otherwise specified. If a door is found locked, do not unlock it. Mark the door with chalk and report it. 4645. Do not leave the monitoring station between 1:30 a.m. and 1:50 a.m. If you hear knocking during this interval, ignore it. 4646. During exterior patrols, do not acknowledge wildlife that behaves abnormally. This includes animals that approach directly, move backward, or vocalize repetitively. 4647. If a maintenance worker approaches you during night hours, verify their jacket emblem against the log. If the emblem is inverted or outdated, excuse yourself and return to the monitoring station immediately. 4648. At 4:15 a.m., perform a manual indicator light check. If any light fails to respond after 3 toggles, cover it with tape and log the failure. 4649. Do not accept food, drink, or money from anyone on site between midnight and dawn. 4650. If you hear footsteps circling the station more than once without stopping, count them. If the count changes mid-circuit, turn off the overhead lights and wait 7 minutes. 4651. At shift end, do not leave until your replacement has arrived and confirmed your name, date, and location correctly. I finished reading. The room felt smaller. Questions, Dan asked. I had several, but I asked the one that seemed safest. What happens if I mess up? He considered that. Usually nothing, he said. Sometimes paperwork. Occasionally someone else pays for it. That was not reassuring, but it was honest. I nodded and signed the last page, acknowledging receipt. Dan stayed until 8. He watched as I inventoried the equipment: 2 radios, 4 flashlights, 12 spare batteries, 3 rolls of seal tape, a small bag of chalk, a ring of 12 keys. Everything matched the list. I logged it at 7:56. At 8 o'clock, he checked his watch, nodded, and left. The door closed behind him with a soft click. I was alone. The first hours were quiet. I monitored screens, logged routine readings, listened to the hum of the plant. At 9:23, I heard a sound outside the south window, like something brushing against the glass. I looked up in time to see a shape move past, low to the ground. Probably a raccoon, I told myself. Rule 7 covered that. At 10:40, the radio crackled. "Control to night ops," a voice said. "Radio check." I pressed the button. "Night ops, reading you," I said. "Copy," the voice said. It was flat, professional. I logged the exchange. At 11:58, I went to the bathroom down the hall, counted my steps without realizing I was doing it. 42 there, 42 back. The mirror above the sink reflected my face, pale under fluorescent lights. I didn't linger. Midnight passed without ceremony. The plant did not change, but my awareness did. Every sound felt closer. Every flicker of a light seemed deliberate. At 1:29, I made sure I was seated at the monitoring station. At 1:30, I did not leave. At 1:34, there was a knock on the door. It was polite. 2 taps, a pause, then 2 more. I froze, heart pounding. Rule 6 was clear. I did not move. The knocking continued for exactly 1 minute, then stopped. I waited another minute before I breathed again. I logged the time and the duration, my hand shaking. At 1:47, footsteps began outside the station. Slow, measured. They circled once. I counted 32 steps. They circled again, 32 steps. On the 3rd circuit, the count dropped to 31. I stood, turned off the overhead lights, and waited 7 minutes in the dark. My radio hummed softly. When the lights came back on, the footsteps were gone. By the time I lowered the blackout curtain at 2:10 a.m., my mouth was dry and my shoulders ached from tension. I raised it again at 2:20 and secured the tie. Hands steady now through repetition. At 4:15, I toggled indicator lights. One failed on the 3rd toggle. I covered it with tape and logged the failure. At 5:58, Dan returned. He confirmed my name, the date, the location. Only then did I leave. Driving back to the motel, dawn just beginning to thin the dark. I told myself I could handle this. It was just rules. Follow them and you'd be fine. I did not yet understand how the rules could change. I slept 4 hours and dreamed about doors that wouldn't open until I stopped trying to push them. The second night began with sleet. It rattled against the motel window like handfuls of gravel. I drank bad coffee, pulled on the same coveralls, and drove back through the trees. The gate recognized my badge without comment. Morris was there again, same posture, same expression. He checked my license twice. "You come back," he said. "Yes," I said. He nodded as if that mattered. Inside the admin building, the lights felt harsher than the night before. I clipped on my radio, channel 6 already humming with low static. The locker room smelled faintly of ozone. My locker was still the only one with a name on it. Dan met me outside the monitoring station at 7:49. He looked more tired. "You read the rules again?" he asked. "Yes." "You follow them?" "Yes." He studied my face, then unlocked the door. "Good." The inventory matched again. 12 keys, 3 rolls of tape, chalk untouched. I logged it at 7:58. Dan did not linger this time. He left at 8 on the dot. The door clicked shut. I was alone again. The early hours passed with routine checks. Reactor status nominal. Cooling flow steady. Radiation monitors flat and low. The kind of shift that makes you feel foolish for being tense. At 9:12, the South Yard camera flickered. Just once. When it came back, the image was unchanged, steam rising, fence line intact. I logged the flicker anyway. At 10:37, I heard movement in the north service corridor. Not footsteps, more like something being dragged lightly along the floor. I did not look into the mirrors. I kept my eyes on the console and noted the sound. At 11:40, the radio crackled. "Night ops," a voice said. "Maintenance." I pressed the button. "Identify," I said. There was a pause, too long. "Maintenance," the voice said again. "Identify," I repeated. Another pause. Then the radio went silent. I waited. At 11:43, a man walked past the south window. He wore a maintenance jacket, reflective stripes catching the light. As he turned his head, I saw the emblem on his chest. The trident was upside down. I stood, excused myself to no one, and returned to the monitoring station, heart pounding. I did not look back. The man did not knock. Midnight came. The plant held its breath with me. At 1:30, I stayed seated. At 1:32, a child's voice cried outside the door. "Help," it said. "Please." I closed my eyes. The voice sounded wrong, not distorted, just compressed, like it was coming through a bad speaker. "Help," it said again. I ignored it. The crying stopped at 1:49. At 2:10, I lowered the curtain. At 2:20, I raised it. My hands moved automatically now. Muscle memory. At 3 o'clock, the radio spoke again. "Control to night ops," the voice said. "Status," I pressed the button. "All systems nominal," I said. "Copy," the voice said. I frowned. The phrasing was off. Control usually said received. I logged it. At 4:15, 2 indicator lights failed on the third toggle. I covered both with tape. My tape supply dropped from 3 rolls to 2.5. I logged the usage. At 5:38, footsteps circled the station. 32 steps, 32 again, 32 again. They did not change. I did not turn off the lights. Dan arrived at 5:57. He confirmed my name, date, location. He paused. "You log everything?" he asked. "Yes," he nodded. "Good." As I left, I noticed a new page taped to the inside of the door. It had not been there before. I stopped, read it. The handwriting was Dan's, amendments, 3991. If a voice imitates a child, do not respond under any circumstances. Do not comfort. Do not acknowledge. 3992. Radio calls from control using incorrect phrasing are to be logged but not questioned. 3993. If more than one indicator light fails during the 4:15 check, reduce tape usage by covering only the leftmost failures. 3994. Maintenance staff are not authorized to approach night ops directly between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. 3995. If you feel watched, verify that no reflective surfaces are behind you. 3996. Do not remove posted amendments. I read it twice, then I left. The third night, snow buried the road edges. The forest pressed closer. The plant lights glowed like a ship at sea. Dan was not there. Instead, a woman I hadn't met handed me the logbook and nodded. "Dan's off," she said. "You're solo." "Who's my replacement in the morning?" I asked. She hesitated. "We'll see." The inventory was wrong. There were 11 keys, not 12. I froze, logbook open. Rule 1 was clear. Before 8 o'clock, discrepancies were to be noted. I logged it at 7:54. 11 keys present, 1 missing. I did not search. At 8, the building seemed to settle around me like something exhaling. At 9, the south yard camera showed a deer standing at the fence line. It faced the camera directly. It took 3 steps backward, never turning around. I did not acknowledge it. I logged it. At 10:22, the radio spoke in Dan's voice. "You're doing fine," it said. My name followed, perfectly pronounced. I did not respond. I logged it. At 11:50, the north corridor dragging sound returned, louder this time, closer. I kept my eyes down. At 1:30, I stayed seated. At 1:35, there was knocking, 3 taps. A pause, 3 taps. The rhythm was familiar. "Open up," Dan's voice said. I forgot my badge. I did not move. The knocking continued until 1:51. At 2:10, I lowered the curtain. As I did, I noticed frost forming on the inside of the glass. It traced shapes that almost looked like letters. I did not read them. At 2:20, I raised the curtain. The frost was gone. At 3:14, the power flickered. Once, twice. Then the lights went out completely. The radio crackled. "Emergency protocols in effect," a voice said. Not control, not Dan. "Follow them exactly." A new page slid out of the logbook. I had not put it there. Emergency protocols. 6436. During a total blackout, do not restore overhead lights until instructed. Use flashlight only, beam directed at the floor. 6437. Seal the monitoring station door with tape in 3 rotations. Do not cross tape paths. 6438. If footsteps approach during blackout, count them. If they stop before reaching the door, do not move. 6439. If the radio goes silent for more than 5 minutes, tap the battery twice and wait. My hands shook as I took the tape. 3 rotations. Neat. No crossing. The footsteps came. Slow. 32 steps. Then silence. I did not move. Minutes stretched. My flashlight beam trembled on the floor tiles. At 4 minutes, the radio crackled back to life. "Hold," it said. I held. When the lights returned, the tape was gone. The door was unmarked. The missing key lay on the desk. I logged everything. Dawn came thin and gray. No one arrived to replace me. At 6:15, the radio spoke. "You can go," it said. "Leave the rules." I gathered the packet, the amendments, the emergency page. I stapled them together carefully. I taped them to the inside of the door. Then I left. Weeks later, I heard they hired someone new. Another night operations assistant, temporary, paid double. I hope they read the rules out loud. I hope they follow them. I didn't mean to come back. I told my father's nurse I'd be unavailable for a while. I paid the deposit with the retention bonus and told myself that was the end of it. But the rules didn't stop being rules just because I wasn't there to follow them. They stayed in my head, clean and numbered. When I tried to sleep, I inventory counted the dark. When I showered, I watched the mirror without looking into it. 3 weeks later, my phone rang at 4 in the afternoon. Dan's name was on the screen. I let it ring once before answering. "You left early," he said. "No one relieved me," I said. A pause. "That happens." "You said don't leave." "You followed protocol," he said. "That's why I'm calling." I waited. "We lost the new hire," he said. "Third night." I closed my eyes. "Lost how?" "Didn't finish the shift," he said. "Didn't break any alarms, didn't trigger any counters. He just stopped being in the building." I pictured the monitoring station empty, the chair pushed back just enough to suggest urgency. "What did he do wrong?" I said. Dan exhaled. He tried to be helpful. That night, snow fell again. I drove north without turning the radio on. The gate opened. Morris wasn't there. Inside the admin building, 2 lockers were open now. One empty, one with a name taped over mine, hastily peeled away. Adhesive residue still visible. Dan met me with the logbook already open. "You're not obligated," he said. "I know," I said. "You'll be solo," he said. "No trainee." "Okay." He slid a new packet across the desk, thicker than before. "Read them again," he said. I did. The core rules were unchanged. The amendments had grown, new amendments. 7. If a coworker appears off shift or out of uniform, do not ask where they're going. 8. If an object previously missing reappears without explanation, do not remark on it. 9. During snow or sleet, exterior patrol distances shorten by 5 meters. Do not compensate. 10. Do not use personal phones between midnight and dawn. 11. If you hear breathing that does not match your own, hold your breath until it stops. 12. Do not assume dawn will arrive at the usual time. I signed. At 8 o'clock, Dan left. This time, he locked the door behind him, then unlocked it again. Force of habit, he said. The inventory matched. 12 keys, tape restored, batteries full. At 9:13, the south yard light refused to stay on. I toggled it 3 times. It went dark at exactly 9:16 each time. I logged it and left it dark. At 10:50, a voice spoke from behind me. You dropped this. I did not turn around. A key slid across the desk and stopped against my hand. It was warm. I did not touch it. I logged the event. At 11:45, the radio spoke in a new voice. Dispatcher to night ops, it said. Supply run. I frowned. There were no supply runs at night. Distance? I asked. 50 yards, the voice said. West shed. I checked the amendments. Snow shortened distances. 45 yards. I did not respond. The radio repeated itself, adding my name. I turned the volume down 1 notch and logged the call. At 1:30, I stayed seated. At 1:38, footsteps approached and stopped directly outside the door. No knock, just presence. I counted my breaths. The breathing outside did not match. I held my breath until my vision spotted. The breathing stopped first. At 2:10, I lowered the curtain. When I raised it at 2:20, the south yard had changed. The fence line was closer, not dramatically, maybe 3 meters, enough that I noticed. I checked the map. It still showed the original distance. I logged the discrepancy. At 3, the power dipped but did not fail. The radio stayed live. Do you remember your father? The dispatcher voice asked. I turned the radio off. That was a mistake. Silence pressed in, thick and immediate. I counted 5 minutes by my watch, then tapped the battery twice and waited. The radio came back with a hiss. Don't do that again, Dan's voice said. It sounded tired. At 4:15, all indicator lights failed at once. I froze. The amendment said reduce tape usage if more than one failed. The emergency protocols were not active. The core rules did not cover this. I covered the leftmost lights, 3, 5, 7. I stopped when the tape ran low. The uncovered lights pulsed once, then went dark permanently. At 4:40, the footsteps returned. This time, they did not circle. They paced back and forth in a straight line, exactly 7 meters long. I counted until I lost count. At 5:20, the radio crackled. You can leave, a voice said. I checked the time. Too early. Confirm name, I said. It said my name correctly. Confirm date, I said. It gave yesterday's date. I stayed. Dawn came late, 6:43, gray and weak. Dan arrived at 7. You look worse, he said. I followed the rules, I said. He nodded. They're tighter now. As I left, I noticed a third locker open, another name taped on. I didn't read it. I drove south with the rules folded in my pocket, already knowing I would come back. The fourth night started with freezing rain that glazed the trees and made the road sound like it was tearing itself apart under my tires. I parked under the flickering light again. 2 seconds bright, 1 second dim. It had never changed. Inside, The admin building was darker, not unlit, just dimmed, like someone had turned the brightness down a notch and forgotten about it. Morris was back at the security desk. He looked older. "You're late," he said. "I'm not," I said. I checked my watch. 6:54. He looked at his screen, then nodded slowly. "Right, you're not. The locker room smelled wrong. Not ozone this time, something organic, damp. 4 lockers were open now, 1 empty, 2 with names taped on, 1 with nothing but tape residue, scratched and clawed, like someone had tried to remove it without fingernails. My locker was still there, my name retaped in cleaner handwriting. The monitoring station door was already unlocked. Dan wasn't inside. The logbook lay open on the desk, pen placed exactly parallel to its spine. A new packet sat beside it, thicker again. I read, "Emergency protocols, expanded, 1139. If weather reduces visibility to less than 30 meters, exterior patrols are suspended. Do not verify conditions visually. 1140. During extended nights, hydration must be logged hourly. Do not drink if offered by another party. 1141. If a voice provides correct credentials but incorrect sequencing, terminate the interaction. 1142. If a rule contradicts lived experience, follow the rule. 043. If you believe you are alone, verify by speaking a phrase that no one else should know. If answered, stop speaking entirely. I signed without thinking. Inventory first. 2 radios, 4 flashlights, 12 batteries, 2 1/4 rolls of tape, chalk, 12 keys, 13. I stared at the ring, counted again, 13 keys. I logged it before 8 o'clock, hand steady through effort. 13 present, 1 unassigned. I did not remove it. At 8, the plant exhaled. At 9:21, the south yard camera showed a figure standing near the fence, human-shaped, motionless. I zoomed in until the image degraded. The figure did not resolve. It stayed vague, like it was just outside the camera's ability to understand it. At 10:10, the radio spoke in Morris's voice. "You forgot to sign out yesterday," it said. "I signed out," I said, then stopped myself. Silence. I logged the breach, my own. At 11, the north corridor dragging sound returned, joined by a second sound, metal tapping metal, once every 5 seconds. I did not look at the mirrors. I counted taps. 12. Then they stopped. At 1:30, I stayed seated. At 1:31, the overhead lights flickered once. At 1:32, the footsteps began. They did not circle. They traced a shape. I recognized it from the map without looking. The monitoring station mirrored. At 1:47, the steps overlapped themselves. Impossible geometry. I turned off the lights and waited 7 minutes, even though the count had not changed. In the dark, something whispered numbers. I did not count with it. At 2:10, I lowered the curtain. It resisted, just slightly, like something was holding it from the other side. I lowered it anyway. At 2:20, I raised it. The resistance was gone. The south yard was closer again, the fence now less than 40 meters away. I logged it. At 3:18, the radio crackled. "Supply run authorized," Dan's voice said. "West shed, 40 meters. Snow hammered the roof. Visibility was less than 30 meters. I did not go. "Confirm," the voice said. "We need you to confirm." I turned the volume down 1 notch. At 4:15, half the indicator lights failed. I covered only the leftmost. The uncovered ones pulsed, then stayed lit. One blinked in a pattern I recognized from the flickering light outside. 2 seconds. 1 second. At 4:42, the breathing started behind me. I held my breath. It took longer this time. At 5:29, the radio said, "You can leave." I asked for confirmation. It got everything right. I still stayed. Dawn arrived at 7:12. Late again. Dan did not come. At 7:30, Morris opened the door. "You're done," he said. He confirmed my name, date, location. His voice shook on the date. I left. They didn't call me for 2 weeks. When they did, Dan was gone. Retired, they said. Quietly. No farewell. The rules changed again. I wasn't given the full packet this time. Just a summary. Just what I needed. They told me I was reliable. The 5th night was clear. No snow. No rain. The stars looked sharp, like they could cut. I arrived early. Inventory matched. 13 keys again. At 9, the south yard was empty. At 10, the radio stayed silent. At 11, the mirrors in the north corridor were gone. Not broken, removed. Clean rectangles where they had been. At 1:30, I stayed seated. At 1:35, the door opened. I did not look up. "I'm your replacement," a voice said. "You're early," I said. "I know," the voice said. I was told to be. I asked for confirmation. It got my name right. The date wrong. I stayed seated. The voice sighed. "They always do that," it said. Then it left. At 2:10, I lowered the curtain for the last time. At 2:20, I did not raise it. That wasn't a rule. Not yet. But the fence was too close. The glass was cold. At 4:15, none of the indicator lights failed. At dawn, real dawn, someone knocked. Dan's voice. Correct sequence. Correct phrasing. I opened the door. The monitoring station was empty behind me when I left. No packet. No logbook. Just a desk and the lights humming their patient hum. I didn't come back after that, but sometimes at night, I inventory what I can see from my bed. Door, window, phone, keys. I have 13. If you're reading this because the job listing is back up, take the night shift if you need the money. Follow the rules exactly. Don't help. Don't improvise. And if the door opens early and someone says they're your replacement, make them confirm the date twice. If they hesitate, stay seated. I thought that was the end of it. For 6 months, it was. The plant stopped calling. The job listing disappeared. My father stabilized. I slept through most nights without counting. When I did wake up, it was only once, and I could tell myself it was normal. Then the envelope arrived. No return address. No postage stamp. Just my name, written carefully, slid under my apartment door sometime between midnight and dawn. I knew that without checking the time. Inside was a single laminated page. Not the full rules, not the amendments, not the emergency protocols. A handoff. Night operations, condensed, 6:15. Inventory before, 8. If the count increases, record it. Do not attempt to correct it. 6:16, channel 6 only. Voices that know your name do not know you. 6117, south window uncovered until 2:10, covered between 2:10 and 2:20. After that, decide based on distance. 6:18, do not look for mirrors that are no longer there. 6:19, doors should remain unlocked. If one opens by itself, do not close it. 6:20, between 1:30 and 1:50, remain seated. Early replacements are not replacements. 6:21, footsteps that circle can be counted. Footsteps that pace cannot. 6:22, if dawn is late, stay late. 6:53, if dawn is early, do not trust it. 6:24, leave the rules where the next person will find them. At the bottom was a familiar signature. Dan. I sat at my kitchen table for a long time. The radiator clicked. A car passed outside. Everything behaved normally, which was worse. I checked my keys. 13. That night, I dreamed of the monitoring station again. The lights were steady. The logbook was open to a blank page. Someone was sitting in my chair, back to me, posture perfect. They didn't turn around. In the morning, the job listing was back up. Late night operations assistant, temporary, retention bonus available. I folded the laminated page and slid it into an envelope of my own. No return address, no stamp. I know where to leave it. If you're starting your first night soon, you'll find it taped inside the door, just below eye level. Read it out loud, all of it, even if your voice shakes, especially if your voice shakes. Inventory carefully, and when you get to 13, stop counting. But the rules don't care about that. 2 nights after I slid the envelope under the door at the plant, I woke up at 2:22 in the morning with the certainty that something had been misplaced. Not lost, not stolen. Misplaced. Like an object set down with intention and then forgotten by the person who intended it. I got out of bed and checked the apartment the way I used to check the station. Front door locked, chain intact, windows closed, curtains uneven but acceptable. Phone on the table. Battery at 74%. Keys in the bowl by the door. I counted them. 12. I counted again. 12. I stood there for a long time, bowl in my hands, listening to the building settle. Someone flushed a toilet on another floor. Pipes knocked once, then went quiet. Normal sounds, safe sounds. I did not try to find the missing key. I wrote it down instead. Old habit. Pen, paper, time written out in words. At 7 the next morning, my phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. I let it buzz twice before answering. Night ops, a voice said. Young, careful. This is probably a mistake, but did you work here before? I said nothing. I found something, the voice continued. Inside the door. A laminated page. There are rules on it. I closed my eyes. Did you read them out loud? I asked. A pause. Then, yes. Good, I said. Another pause. There are 13 items, the voice said. Is that right? Yes, I said. They told me there were only 12, the voice said. I looked at the bowl by the door, empty space where the extra key used to be. They always say that, I said. What happens if I lose one? The voice asked. You don't lose it, I said. You stop being the person who has it. Silence on the line, breathing, matching mine too closely. I should go, the voice said. Yes, I said. Before 8. The call ended. That night, I slept without dreaming. In the morning, there was a key on my kitchen table. Not mine. Industrial cut. Clean. Cold. I did not touch it. I slid it into an envelope and wrote a name I didn't recognize on the front, careful with the letters. I knew where to leave it. There are places that accept things without asking why. Somewhere north, a light flickered in a steady pattern. 2 seconds bright, 1 second dim. Inventory is easier when you know when to stop.